If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, don't deal in lies, or being hated, don't give way to hating, and yet don't look too good nor talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master, if you can think and not make thoughts your aim, if you can meet triumph and disaster and treat those two impostors just the same, if you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken, and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can make one heap of all your winnings, and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss, and lose and start again at your beginnings, and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve your turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings, nor lose the common touch, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count on you but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything in it, and, which is more, you'll be a man, my son. Welcome to Love and Good Music. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Erica Cookee Alexander. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is another new, fresh episode. I know I've been gone for a long time, and it just feels like that sometimes. You know, I definitely had ambitions of being on here every other month, and it just didn't happen like that. Summer came, and I was traveling and doing my thing, and I was just like, fuck that show. That's just the truth about it, and I just don't know how else to say it. Like, I didn't make this a priority, and I just really appreciate the people who've held me accountable and been like, hey girl, where's your show, girl? And I really appreciate that, because that makes me, know that I gotta continue to do the things that I say that I'm gonna do, and I know that that's difficult, but I want to be transparent on here and let you guys know that sometimes this is not easy, or sometimes I don't have the energy, or sometimes I question my content or what I'm doing, and I get all up in my head, and then I'm like, no, I'm not gonna film because I'm all up in my head. So it's a process for me. Like I said, I'm grateful for the people who've held me accountable, and here we are, a new episode. I'm super excited. We're heading into the new year. But I had to give you guys at least one or two more episodes, so thank you guys for rocking with me. 2021 was the first year of this show, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So, that poem that I just did right there is called If by Rudyard Kipling. The reason why I chose that is I had to memorize that for an internship one time. When I first moved to Los Angeles, I was doing an internship at Def Jam, and one of our A&R reps at the time, I remember I was trying to get a job in the A&R side. I was in promotions and marketing at the time. That was my degree in school, so that's where they put me. Plus, that's where my homie was working out. Shout out B. Sampson. And I was like, oh no, I need to work in A&R. Like, I just want to find new music. I just want to find people who have talent. Like, that's what my calling is, right? Oh my God, didn't even do that. But anyways, that's kind of where I was when I first moved to LA. And he was like, yeah, you gotta memorize this, and one day, I'm not gonna tell you when, but one day you're gonna have to recite this. And I was like, oh my God, because that thing is long, so I was just taking it like literally paragraph by paragraph, and I learned it, and he never asked me for it, and I was pissed. But after I learned it, I understood why he made me learn it, and even though it is from a male perspective, like, there's a lot of good stuff in there, and it's always had a special place in my heart. So, you already know, this is Love and Good Music. We talk about poetry, we talk about love, we talk about music, we talk about spirituality, we talk about books, we talk about motherhood, anything that is going on in my life, we're talking about it. So I once again I thank you guys for joining us. Make sure you subscribe, like, follow me, Instagram, Twitter, all those things. I'm on all of the things, the Facebook. So yeah, make sure you follow your girl. I appreciate all the love and support you guys have shown. Let's get into it. You guys ready? I'm ready. All right, so let's see. Oh, yeah. Y'all know how I do my shows. Shout out to She Glows Within. It's an affirmation deck. You can find this on Instagram. I usually tag her when I do my posts. So make sure you guys go out, and it's a wonderfully, beautifully illustrated deck, and it just has such amazing affirmations and breathing exercises and just words of encouragement. And I love this deck. So let's see what our card is for the day. This one. So this one says power. And the back says glowing vibes. Glow, baby, glow. Women want to be fearless, and sometimes all it takes is to see that it's possible. Once you see it can be done, you think, I could do it too. That's all I could ever hope for, to have a positive effect on women, because women are powerful, powerful beings, but they are also the most doubtful beings they'll ever know. We'll never know how powerful we are. Rihanna. Shout out to Riri. I got my Fenty lip gloss on. Hey, girl. That was good. That was good. Women are powerful, powerful beings, but they are the most doubted beings. They'll never know. We'll never know how powerful we are. So that's really big, especially what I kind of just told you guys, how like I be in my head about this show sometimes, why I haven't really been true to filming this. I doubt myself the most. Like, you know, out of everybody, I doubt myself, even when I have the support and the love and all of you guys ask me where are things going. I'm like, I don't feel comfortable putting anything out. Like, I'm a perfectionist. I don't think when anything is half-assed, like I can't do it. And, you know, coming up with content that I feel can last and is personal and honorable to me. And that was difficult. And I'm grateful to be back. I don't know where this show is going to go, but let's go for it. All right, let's just go for it. So the show is called Love and Good Music. So we have a spread love section and we have a good music section. So we're gonna go ahead and start with our spread love segment of the day. This topic is very difficult for me. It's love versus desire. Now, the reason that I chose this is because this was coming up for me a lot last year. In therapy or in just open group forum sessions that I would do just for healing and forgiveness. And then just learning the difference between, did I love someone or was it just me going after something I desired? And let's stop right there, right? If you can just look back in your past of your relationships, or I don't know, married, single, whatever you are, you can still look back and was for love or were you fulfilling a desire? And knowing the difference between the both, knowing the difference between the two are so important for me moving forward. You know, I've been saying it since episode 1, working towards a healthier relationship in my next relationship. Want to be my last relationship, but I know that it starts with me. And so this was big for me, is uncovering what my lens shows as love and what my lens shows as desire, and knowing that true love lasts but desire burns off. And that was huge for me, because I would find that sometimes I'd be in relationships and I'd be like, I don't really like this person anymore. Like, they're just not doing it for me. And that's because I wasn't going into it 100% with love. I was going into it because these people fulfilled a need for me or a desire that I had a void for at the time. So, of course, when that desire was fulfilled or no longer needed, I mean, y'all know, there's no love. There's no foundation of love. And so, yeah, I'm responsible for, a lot of probably unhealthy, toxic relationships in my past. Not to say that all of my relationships were bad. My relationships have been beautiful. But knowing that and going back and, hindsight is 2020, looking back and saying, where did the foundation come from? Was it from love or was it from desire? So let's get into this topic, love or desire. And I'm going to try and break these both down as best as possible in the best way that I know how. And I hope you guys get a message for it. And I hope that this helps you if you are single and looking for love, or if you're in a current relationship and being able to decipher between the two. And making sure that your relationship that you're in right now is one of love and not one of desire. All right? So, first thing first, I want to define both of them because I feel like the definitions really will help us decipher between this line that they walk on a very thin line. Okay, so the definition of love is the noun. The noun is an intense feeling of deep affection. An intense feeling of deep affection. Some synonyms that I found that were important for me were devotion, adoration, fondness, tenderness, warmth, intimacy, attachment, and endearment. Now, all of those that I just said, the one attachment probably hits the hardest for me. And the reason for that is just in some post-therapy and some like I said, just self-help groups, learning where I was codependent in my past relationships, and the word attachment, being attached to someone or feeling like I needed them to complete me because I couldn't be by myself. That's where I felt love was. You're filling this hole for me, you're filling this void for me. This attachment that I have to you is what I call love. And might not have been, but might have been. But we'll check when we get to the end. So that we make sure that we have all of it. The verb for love means to have. So the noun is an intense feeling of deep affection, and the verb is to have. So that's love. Let's jump over to desire. Desire is also a noun. And the noun is a strong feeling of wanting to have something or wishing for something to happen. Synonyms for desire are want, inclination, aspiration, impulse, reference, and crave. So out of all of those synonyms, the ones that are, stabbing me in the heart right now are impulse and crave. I used to definitely pride myself on being impulsive, thinking that if I just followed what I wanted immediately or followed my gut or just did what I wanted, that I was just always doing what was right. And sometimes that's not always right. Crave is difficult for me because I used to definitely go based off things that I craved in other people, but there were things that I lacked inside of me. So if I would usually choose partners that were very different from me and entailed things inside of them that I didn't have inside of me, and I used to look for them. I craved those things in them because they were everything that I wasn't. So I definitely can see how having your cravings be a reflection of things that you're attached to. It's just like a recipe for disaster. So I don't know, just gonna leave you dissatisfied and wanting more, right? If all you do is go after things that you crave. So, all right. So now we know desire is the want and love is the feeling. So desire is the want and love is the feeling. So when I first went into this and some of the exercises that I did and some of these like relationship classes or things that I took, these were some of the things that came into my brain is, can desire fulfill love? I don't think so. Is desire temporary, and is love long term? And how do the two meet in the middle to have like an amazing budding relationship full of spark and full of flair? Because you definitely need both, right? You want to desire those things in your person. You want to, you know, desire things that fill you up, but we can't rely on those things at all times. So those can't be like the deal breakers or like the main factors of your relationship, because once those are gone, it's gone. So it's okay to desire your mate, but that can't be the only thing. So for me, when I think of desire, I think of things that keep the flames going in your relationship, right? And things that attract me to people or that make me desire them, kind of what I stated before, are power. I love when people walk in their power. I love when I see people very confident and know who they are. And I desire people like that because sometimes I feel insecure. And so I always like people who know who they are, because it helps me want to know who I am. Because I'm like, I want to be like that. I desire that. I desire that in somebody. So it's kind of interesting because, like I said, I've come from a world of codependency, and I'm trying to teeter-totter into, am I being codependent and wanting certain things in someone that I don't necessarily have? Or is there a way to find a middle ground and have that person bring this to the relationship but not have me rely on this? Because if this ever leaves, would that mean that I don't want to be in this space anymore? And so that's just been important for me. Adventure is definitely something that I desire in somebody, because I feel like your partner can egg you on. Like, you can be having a bad day and your partner could be like, yo, let's go somewhere. I'm like, yeah, I'm down. And you could just go have like the best day. Yeah, you know, I like also being intrigued by my partner and just knowing like, wow, like there's so much in their head like I want to pull out, or there's just so much that I want to know about them, or just seeing them walk in their passions and in their light. That's just like, I desire that. Like, I love that. I crave that in like my partner. So it's very important for, you know, for you to have desire. I'm not saying desire is wrong. And then let's talk about love. So in my research I've done, there's 4 types of love. There's physical love, which is touch, closeness, presence. Mental love, which is understanding, thought-provoking. Emotional love, which is feeling seen, connected, being wanted. And then there's spiritual love, which is like chemistry, energy, all of those things. But I think at the center of love is vulnerability, right? Because without vulnerability, there really is no love. So that's the part for me, I think, that I'm most fearful of, is going into my next relationship, is going in walls down. I've had my walls up for so many years, and now I'm like going in like walls down. So, but I heard this cool quote that said, in order to be penetrated with love, one has to be vulnerable. And so, you know, I really take that to heart, and I'm really working on being a vulnerable person. And I'm starting in just like my personal life with my friends and my work life with my job, and making myself be seen as a human being who makes mistakes rather than trying to be perfect all the time. Because that's definitely who I am. Miss Perfect. It's the Capricorn in me, I'm sorry. Love is also no expectations, right? Because you can't go in saying like, it has to be like this, or like, it has to be like this. Love is saying, I love you no matter what you do. It's the allowing, right? That's why love can't have control, because it's the allowing of your partner to be free, and to be free as one, as the union is so together, but still you are an individual. It's just important to let your partner live without setting limitations. And just, you know, like I said, that allowing of their freedom, and I feel like you will always see your person in their best lighting if they feel free. So we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up, but before I wrap this up, just something I want to think of is, with desire being the want and love being the feeling, where can the two come together? And I feel like that's honestly different for every person, where you and your partner can go in together and draw up these lines between what you guys are going to bring to the table and how you're also going to stand in your own individuality and bring all of the love still into the center of the union. Um, because yes, without the cravings and the desire and the adventure, um, and the novelty between your partner and you throughout the years, without those things, a relationship is pretty damn stale, if you ask me. So you do need desire. You do want to long for your partner. You do want to crave your partner. You do want to desire them. But lo and behold, if there is no desire for them at all times, there still has to be the foundation of love. So yeah, I hope I did my best. That was my best shot at breaking down love and desire. I hope that triggered some things or some thoughts for you in your head, because it's important for, I think, everyone to mold their own definition of the two and be able to decipher between the two and seeing how both can work in your relationship. All right. Off to the good music segment. I think we're doing pretty good on time. So this song that I'm about to break down is called No Pain, No Gain. No pain, no pain, no gain. And it is by Mrs. Betty Wright. It is off of the album that is called Mother Wit. So let me tell you about this song. I've been hearing this song since I was a little girl. My mom used to play it when she was cleaning houses on the weekend, sometimes in the car. And when I was a little kid, I was singing it. But like I said, sometimes you're singing things you don't even know what you're singing about. And as an adult, it's been very interesting for me to go back to listen to songs that I used to listen to as a kid, or lyrics that I've sang my whole life. I'm just wondering what it's done for my brain and how I view things and how I see things, because music, television, all of these things shape your thoughts, right? And so it's important for us to understand, what are we singing, dissecting it, being healthy about it, and having healthy thoughts, and making sure that we're not, I hate using the word toxic. It just seems so played right now. So we're not being hurtful people out there because we're just not understanding the right things. This is easy as I could. Anyways, we're gonna jump into the first verse. Okay. So first verse, Betty Wright, No Pain, No Game, says, "We're all entitled to make a mistake. We gotta prepare for some heartbreak. I was earning my man while I was learning my man. Something you young girls might not understand. Tell him, Betty. Whoop whoop." All right, girls. So that is the first verse. So let's take it line by line. So when I look at the second line of that, it says, "We got to prepare for some heartbreak." Now, I think as a kid, I used to think that. I totally thought that relationships meant you fight, you yell, you argue, you scream. No shade to my family, but that's what I grew up in. And so I didn't think that there was such thing as no fighting, no arguing, or I didn't know what a healthy relationship was, or that people could talk things out in this tone of voice, or that people actually went to therapy, or that actually went to marriage counseling, or all these things. You know, these things are taboo in a lot of like the communities that are underprivileged, I guess you could say. But no excuses, right? Because when you know better, you do better. And so now that I know better, it's been important for me to go back and to see some of the things, or where some of the ideas of my mind were shaped. And a lot of it is music. Even from when I was popping my ass and twerking, not that I don't anymore because I still do, but just listening to the other day, I was like, I heard my neck, my back, lick my, you already know, and I was like, oh my God, I was like 8 years old singing this song. And being open to sex at that young of an age made it okay for me to want to do it at a young age, because my neck and my back, I need my pussy and my crack licked, right? Because that's what Kaya said, or Kia, whatever her name was. And yeah, it's crazy to know that we are exposing our kids to those things at such a young age. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying if they don't have the understanding of their bodies and how their energy works, then that stuff is out the door. So when I hear that we got to prepare for some heartbreak, do you though? Like, are we setting ourselves up for failure? Like, do we always go into a relationship thinking, I'm gonna get something's gonna hurt me in this, or like I'm gonna get hurt? Because I think that was always me. I was always going in walls up, like, oh, he's gonna hurt me, he's gonna do something wrong, he's gonna, and then when he does, oh, I gotta be out of here. And I was always a runner. Like, as soon as someone would hurt my feelings, I'm out of there. Like, I'm out of the relationship. Don't call me, you hurt me. No. So, just something to think about. Are you one of those people who just prepares for heartbreak immediately? Betty Wright does. Third line was, I was earning my man while I was learning my man. Something young girls might not understand. So, when it comes to this, I definitely agree that you have to learn your partner, but I'm not sure about the earning part. I guess I'd be taking a couple different ways, because yes, you do have to earn someone's trust. You do have to earn someone's love. So I did get this. I did get that. There was a meme that I saw that said, you better learn someone before you love someone, or you'll be learning a lesson. So I feel like we kind of circle back to the same thing of this mentality of like, I'm about to get hurt, and the expectation of that. But maybe not. Maybe she's just saying, that love is not free, and you gotta learn your partner. And if you don't, then be prepared to go through some BS. So, yeah. All right, let's go to the second verse. But love is a flower that needs the sun and rain. A little bit of pressure worth a whole lot of pain. If you learn this secret, how to forgive, a longer and better life you will live. Woo, you ain't never lied, Betty. All right, first line. But love is a flower that needs sun in the rain. Love needs sun and rain. Now, those are two different opposites, right? Most people like the sun. Most people don't like the rain. Not necessarily that it's like a bad thing, but it's usually cold when it rains. I like warm rain. I can always love warm rain. But you need both to sustain it, right? So let's just pretend for the second that the rain is bad and the sun is good. You need both for the seed to grow. And so this reminds me of a book by one of my favorite authors, Thich Nhat Hanh, and his book is called No Mud, No Lotus. Now, the lotus flower is considered to be one of the most beautiful flowers, blooms at night, but it blooms in the mud. And so how can something so beautiful come from mud, right? So that's what I kind of get from that. Love comes from sun and rain. It comes from both sides. Second verse. Also, I had posted a meme. It's on my Instagram right now. Follow me at Queen Cookee. And it says, I asked God to help me grow, and it started raining. Now, that was important for me, because I think sometimes we ask for things in prayer and we don't get them. We get the opposite, or we get the setup. And what I mean by the setup is because usually after what you don't get, you end up getting. So it was really just the preparation for the blessing. Sometimes the blessings come in things being taken from us, or, you know, losing something, and that might not appear as the blessing or as the prayer being answered, but it really is. And so in that saying, I asked God to help me grow, and it started raining. It's God raining on you so you can spread. So you can, those seeds that were sown can grow. And so that was important. I just wanted to say that. All right, second line. A little bit of pleasure is worth a whole lot of pain. I mean, I know we've all heard that. It's better to love than have lost, than never to have loved before. Yeah, I would agree. I wouldn't trade any of my exes for the world, any of my experience and what I've felt. I've had love in my past, and even though that I've had pain, I think when you look back in life, if you focus on the good, there's just so much love there, right? It's just so much love. When I think of some of my exes, I'm like, oh my God, there was so much love there. And I'm sure that there still is, even though there might be like a tiff there, but like there's just so much love. And I really, really liked that. A little bit of pleasure is worth a whole lot of pain. I wouldn't probably give up any of my past, even for any of the pain that I came through. So I definitely would agree with that one. And then the last one is, if you learn this secret, how to forgive, a longer and better life you will live. This lesson is one that I'm still learning. Forgiveness is difficult, I know, but it's something that I'm definitely learning, and I know that it does set you free. Shake the shackles off my feet so I can dance. You know, it sets you free. It gives you the power. It truly, truly does, especially if that other person still wants to beef with you and you're just like, it's good. Like, it definitely gives you the power. So, yeah, I like that verse. Those verses were good. Okay, Betty. I don't know about the first one we read, but the second one I agree with. All right, third verse. In order to give something, you got to give something. In order to be something, you gotta go through something. So similar, coming back to love is an exchange, right? And it's a give and a get. It's a yin and a yang, and it's so many things. And so in that, you kind of hear her saying, and you know, you can hear this all the time too, is you get out what you put out. It's not always true in relationships, because sometimes they're lopsided, right? Sometimes somebody's really, really giving and the other person's not. So I'm not here to tell you that if you give and give and give and give, that your relationship's going to be fantastic, right? But I will tell you this, and this is such an awesome quote that I heard. There is no losing in love. Love begets love. Good karma, it comes back tenfold. Love is not deceptive ever. The innocent party will always be blessed. So what I take from that is, no matter how much someone has hurt you, if you've given love and you've been honorable in yourself, then you will always get what you receive in your karma, and it's going to be 10 times better. So that's the end of our good music segment. Shout out Betty Wright. No pain, no gain. And I think that's true in life, right? If you don't try, if you don't attempt at love, even if, you know, there's some people who've been heartbroken before, like, I'm never going to do that again. Well, why? Because you don't even know if the next one's going to be good. And you always still have an experience, right? Like, I look at all my exes and I'm like, yeah, I would do it again. I would do it again. Because when it's good, it's good. And then, like, you know, and to experience those things with someone and to share that magic, like, it's priceless. And I encourage you to keep on loving. Alright. It's time for the cookie jar. Alright. Ooh, the legend of Kwasi Benefo from Africa. Okay, I'm excited, John. Ew. we haven't been to the continent of Africa yet. So I'm excited about this story. Let me just get my notes. Okay. I think I remember this one. All right, here we go. So this is, I would say it's definitely not a true story, but it might be. But either way, it's just based on not giving up, okay? And it's also based in always wanting to find true love and staying true to yourself and finally finding it. What we were just talking about a second ago. So let me tell y'all how Kwasi found it, okay? So this story comes from the continent of Africa. It's about the pursuit of love and never giving up to find it. So this is about this warrior hero called Kwasi Benefo, and he was from the Ashanti Tribe in Africa. And you know, he was a cattle herder. He had he had several fields, and he was pretty wealthy, pretty good farmer. He found a wife. He married her, and they had a child. And right after the child was born, she died. And so the legend says, Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept. So after time passed, he ended up remarrying again, second wife, wife number 2, and she died right away. So this one was a fast one. I don't exactly know what happened to her, but she died immediately. So Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept. Full of desire to still love and to find, you know, true unionship, he reluctantly married a third time. This time he married a woman and she gave him a son. And a couple of years after, she was struck by a fallen tree and she died. And Kwasi wept, and Kwasi wept, and Kwasi wept. So after the death of his third wife, he took his son and he went out into the in the woods, and he just decided he wanted to be away from everything. He went and just lived out away from everyone. And as he was living out away from everyone in the new village that he met his fourth wife. Yes, number 4. And this wife, of course, she died. Well, y'all don't know that, but yeah, she died, and Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept, Kwasi wept. And so at this point, he's over it. He's just like, I'm totally not doing this again. I'm done. So years pass, and then he decided, I'm gonna go to the underworld. I want to go to the underworld so I can see my 4 dead wives. So Kwasi made the journey to the underworld. He came to the bank of the deep, swiftly flowing river. A young woman who welcomes the souls of the dead appeared before him and asked, why had he come? And he explained that he had come to find the 4 lost souls of his missing wives. She let him cross the river and warned him that his wives would be invisible, but that he could hear them. So as he came to the house where his wives lived in the underworld, he could not see them, but he could hear them, and their voices sang of welcome, and they also told him that he needed to marry again, and that the next wife would not pass away, and that it would be his happily ever after. Kwasi, of course, being 4 wives into the game, was like, no, I don't want to do this. Like, I can't lose another wife. But the women, they told him for sure, it's not going to happen. Trust us. So Kwasi went back to his village and he met a 5th wife. And just like the women of the underworld said, she gave him 2 children and she did not pass away, and they lived happily ever after. Could y'all do that? I don't know, right? That's so much death to be dealing with, and talk about resilience, right? And just truly never giving up. Like I said, I don't think that's a true story, but you know how in certain cultures they just pass certain tales down to teach lessons, and that lesson is definitely the lesson of not giving up, right? The lesson of being faced with something over and over and over again, and the hardship that he had to endure and just not giving up. So shout out to Kwasi Benefo. He's no longer weeping, okay? All right. We are at the end of the show, guys. I know I'm already like running over, but I just like I said, thank you guys so much for this year, for being on this journey with me, for trusting me, for allowing me to be myself, for allowing me to be open and honest, and for not judging me. And I appreciate the lessons that I learned with all of you and through all of you and through doing this, and the accountability. Keep holding me accountable. You know, if you don't see this show up, tap on my head. What's up, girl? What's up, girl? Like, do your show. So I appreciate you guys. Don't forget to follow me, subscribe, leave comments. I check them all. I definitely respond to all of you guys. You guys can follow me on Instagram, Facebook. I'm at Queen Cookee. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you never miss a show. And I will end the show with this. I heard this cool ass acronym, KPWYS. Keep peace with yourself. I think there is nothing more important than keeping inner peace. So I will leave you with that. Keep peace with yourself, KPWYS. That is the word today. Spread love and good music. We out this thing.